everything about the 9 cents. All you want to ask me is
I have
whether
a new
9
question
cents
now.
is less
Go
than
to the next
18
question.
cents. No, I just what I'm understanding. This
Okay,
is
if you don't
really
want to
important
answer my
issue to
question,
you.
I'll move on to the next one.
If I'm
Your
tracking
attack
right,
on fuel efficiency
all you want to know that
standards-
9 cents is less than 18 cents. You don't want to actually
Already
talk
answered
about
that.
the issue.
You already answered that. Now you're just wasting my time.
Now
Your attack
everything
on
other
fuel
than
efficiency
9 is less than
standards
18 is
will
wasting your
drive
time.
up the cost of Americans' gasoline budgets.
Welcome back to Freedom Forge. If you're new here, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, because this is where we break down what's really happening in Washington without the media spin, without the political sugarcoating, and without the noise. Today, we're reacting to a heated Senate hearing focused on energy policy, rising costs for American families, and accusations about who is really benefiting from current environmental and economic decisions. Lawmakers are questioning a federal official over claims that policy choices are either driving down costs through clean energy or increasing costs to benefit fossil fuel companies. This exchange turns into a sharp back and forth over numbers, accountability, and the real-world impact on everyday Americans.
Whitehouse.
Mr. Zeldin, my colleagues around this table are closing in on an election in which the Trump administration's household cost catastrophe will be central. And you have been on a polluter-funded rampage to increase Americans' costs. Stuff should cost less. You are making lots of stuff cost lots more. You have raised costs for Americans. You have done so to steer their money to your big polluters. Your attack on clean energy raises costs for consumers, but it sends billions to your fossil fuel polluters, Trump's big donors. Trump's attack on offshore wind stalled 9 cents per kilowatt hour power, contract number, no math, getting to my constituents who work in an 18-cent average kilowatt hour grid. Every single day that 9 cent power was delayed, steered money from consumers' pockets into the pockets of expensive natural gas units that the clean offshore wind energy would have displaced. You will at least concede that 9 cents is less than 18 cents, will you not?
Well, 9 cents is less than 18 cents.
There you
However,
go.
in this
Thank you.
context,
your rampant climate denial and refusal to address climate
math is inaccurate. Would
is
you like to talk
driving
about it?
home insurance rates skyward, setting new records in states like Iowa, Florida, and Texas. Those costs are cascading from a home insurance crisis into a mortgage crisis, into a property values crisis. But the big winners, getting to pollute for free, are your fossil fuel polluters, Trump's big donors. Is EPA looking at all at Florida's climate-driven insurance crisis?
So to be clear, everything about the 9 cents, all you want to ask me is
I have
whether
a new
9
question
cents
now.
is less
Go
than
to the next
18
question.
cents. No, I just what I'm understanding. This
Okay,
is
if you don't
really
want to answer
important
my
issue to
question,
you.
I'll move on to the next one.
If I'm
Your
tracking
attack
right,
on fuel efficiency
all you want to know that
standards-
9 cents is less than 18 cents. You don't want to actually
Already
talk
answered
about
that.
the issue.
You already answered that. Now you're just wasting my time.
Now
Your attack
everything
on
other
fuel
than
efficiency
9 is less than
standards
18 is
will
wasting your
drive
time.
up the cost of Americans' gasoline budgets. Your own regulatory impact analysis put the net loss to consumers at $180 billion, but with a minimum $580 billion bonus for big oil at the pump. All those billions go to your fossil fuel polluters, Trump's big donors. Those are your numbers, Mr. Zeldin. You also made it easier to pollute with soot, which will cost Americans tens of billions in added healthcare costs, all to save about $600 million in compliance costs for your fossil fuel polluters, Trump's big donors. You stopped EPA even counting health harms in your cost-benefit analysis, didn't you?
I'm still stuck on the fact that all you're asking me
All right,
so
you're not
far
gonna ask
about
that question-
any of
you're
your
not gonna
numbers
answer
is
that
that
question
9 is
either.
less than 18.
You attacked the
You want to talk
greenhouse
about
gas
what an
reduction
LCOE
fund.
is?
I get
Do you
the
know?
time here. I get to ask the questions. You attacked the greenhouse gas reduction fund, potentially costing consumers $52 billion in lost energy savings, let alone the health benefits of cleaner air. But that $52 billion consumers lose will flow where? To your fossil fuel polluters, Trump's big donors. Ditto the Solar for All funding that you attacked, trying to strip Americans of $350 million per year in expected energy savings, billions over time. Those lost savings go where? To your fossil fuel polluters, Trump's big donors. You even set up a special polluter email address that gave polluters a drive-up window for exemptions from the Clean Air Act, helping them keep 70 polluting coal plants online. One estimate is that just 6 of those plants have already cost ratepayers an extra $230 million in costs in less than 1 year. And indeed, one plant in Michigan has already cost Michiganders $600 million in excess health costs. That is money out of consumers' pockets and into the pockets of your fossil fuel polluters, Trump's big donors.
Can we talk about
Are
your
you
math
even
yet?
tracking the consumer cost of those coal plants?
We're going to get to talk about math.
Are you even tracking the consumer costs of those coal plants?
Oh, no, oh, this is great. So I don't even know where to start with all the messed up
Answer that
math.
question. Are you even tracking
Of
the
course.
consumer costs of those coal plants?
And costs are going down across the country when you look at EPA's impacts.
Where are you tracking the consumer costs of those coal plants?
When you look
Where
at
EPA is
are you
tracking
kidding me? The coal plants even staying open? You think that the math is it's better for West Virginia if you close down their coal plants and put these people out of work and tell them to learn to code? According to
think that when you put
in your
a coal
mind,
plant
that's saving
on
West
that
Virginia?
is raising
Is
costs.
it saving them on energy
We
access?
know it's raising costs.
Is it saving them on jobs?
You can talk across me all you like. You are raising costs.
Raising
You're
costs.
raising costs on purpose because the money that you get when you raise costs from consumers goes to Trump's big fossil fuel
don't
donors.
close down
My time is
coal.
up.
Not sure we're going to get anywhere with that.
Now let's get into it. Right away, you can feel the intensity. One side comes in swinging, accusing the administration of driving up household costs and funneling money towards so-called big polluters. There are claims that blocking or delaying clean energy projects like offshore wind is costing consumers more, with comparisons thrown out like 9 cents versus 18 cents per kilowatt hour. And look, numbers matter, but context matters more. Because what you're seeing here is a classic Washington tactic. Take a single number, isolate it, and use it as a political weapon. Yes, 9 is less than 18. That's basic math. But energy policy is not basic math. It's reliability, infrastructure, grid stability, long-term cost, and who bears the risk when things don't go as planned. The official being questioned tries to push back, pointing out that the conversation is being oversimplified. But every time he tries to expand the discussion, he gets cut off and dragged back to the same talking point. And that tells you something important. This isn't really about getting answers. It's about controlling the narrative. Then the accusations escalate. We hear claims about hundreds of billions in consumer losses, massive gains for oil companies, and rising insurance costs tied to climate issues. It's a flood of numbers, all designed to paint one picture: that policy decisions are intentionally hurting consumers to benefit corporations. But here's where I'm going to give you my honest take as a right-leaning patriot. If you throw out enough big numbers without context, you can make anything sound catastrophic. But the real question is, are those numbers grounded in reality, or are they projections built on assumptions? Because we've seen this before. Massive cost estimates, worst-case scenarios, and models that don't always match what happens in the real world. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention in debates like this: energy reliability. It's easy to talk about cheaper energy on paper. It's much harder to deliver consistent, reliable power to millions of homes and businesses every single day. When you start shutting down existing energy sources before replacements are fully ready, you don't just risk higher costs, you risk instability. And when instability hits, it's not politicians who suffer. It's working families. It's small businesses. It's people who can't afford for their energy bills to spike or their power to go out. Then we get into the discussion about coal plants and jobs. The official pushes back hard, asking whether shutting down coal plants and telling workers to learn to code is really a solution. And that's a moment that hits home for a lot of Americans. Because behind every policy decision, there are real people. Jobs, communities, livelihoods. You can't just erase an industry overnight and expect everything to work itself out. That's not how the real world works. And yet, in Washington, that reality often gets lost in the debate. What also stands out in this hearing is the complete breakdown in communication. The senator keeps pressing, interrupting, repeating claims. The official tries to respond, gets cut off, pushes back. It turns into more of a confrontation than a conversation. And that's a problem, because hearings like this are supposed to be about accountability. They're supposed to be about getting clear answers and understanding complex issues. But when it turns into talking points and interruptions, the American people don't get clarity, they get noise. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture. This hearing is really about two competing visions. One side believes aggressive government action is needed to transition energy systems quickly, even if it means disrupting existing industries and spending massive amounts of money. The other side is raising concerns about cost, reliability, and whether those transitions are being handled responsibly. As someone who believes in limited government and practical solutions, I'll say this. We all want lower energy costs. We all want a cleaner environment. Those are not controversial goals. But how you get there matters. If your policies drive up costs, eliminate jobs, and create instability, then you're not solving the problem. You're creating new ones. And if you can't have an honest, open discussion about those trade-offs, then you're not doing your job as a policymaker. That's what this hearing exposes. It's not just about energy. It's about trust. It's about whether the numbers being thrown around actually reflect reality. It's about whether decisions are being made with the American people in mind, or for political advantage. So when you watch clips like this, don't just focus on who sounds more passionate or who has the bigger numbers. Look at the substance. Look at the answers. Look at whether anyone is actually addressing the full picture. Because that's where the truth is. If you believe in accountability, if you believe in protecting American jobs, and if you want more real breakdowns like this that cut through the noise, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Freedom Forge.